What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blitz Fantasy Football. Today, we have a lot of guests for you guys. We have Dean, Steven, and Nick here. We are back with another mock draft. It's been about 3 weeks now since me and Dean tackled one of these. The board has changed. Aaron Rodgers officially is now a Steeler. We have a lot of moves to make. Boys, are we ready to get into this and go make some good picks?
Oh yeah.
Let's do it. I miss it.
Absolutely.
We need it right now. So let me pull up the sleeper screen. Lucky enough for the randomization, I will have the first pick out of us. Listen, wasn't on purpose. Everybody watched me randomize it, but here we go. Sleeper says okay. Oh my gosh, the sleeper sounds have got to go. Jahmyr Gibbs with a 102 pick. I'm a little bit surprised right now, which is interesting for sure. Jamar Chase goes 101. At 103, I have some options here. It's very interesting. It's between, for me personally, I'm looking at Justin Jefferson and Bijan Robinson in the slot. I absolutely love Jay Jettis, and I feel like he is quarterback proof at this point. But I think the number one overall player in fantasy heading into this year, it's Bijan Robinson. This player is an absolute superstar right now. I've been talking about him for the last couple weeks now. He is my dynasty running back one. He is my redraft running back one right now. And I truly think that, he's going to continue to take another step forward. We saw last year, he finally had enough touches and volume and touchdowns where he was a monster in fantasy, finishing as the RB3 in PPR purposes. Michael Penix Jr. is going to continue to check down to the running back position. Bijan's going to continue to be that monster in the backfield in terms of efficiency, backfield touches, all that good stuff you want to see out of your RB1. And I think at this point, I'm going to go trust that Bijan at 23 years old is going to keep taking another step forward. Still going to remain relatively healthy, hopefully 2 years of 17 plus games. He's a very safe pick, and I think he does not fall out of the top 4 in anybody's drafts. And I'm going to hand this thing off to Dean right here. And looks like Saquon Barkley just went.
Yeah, couldn't be happier. Didn't want him. I'm looking at you're right over him. Jay Jettas, I think, is the clear cut for me here. I was probably a part of vast majority last year that passed on him because we were worried about who was throwing the ball. But listen, he's proved that it doesn't matter who it is. He's that talented. Finishing as wide receiver 2 last year, I think he can just do it again. I think McCarthy's going to rely a lot on him, and I'm fully trusted that Justin Jefferson can be a cornerstone in my fantasy team if I want to, obviously compete for a championship. So I'm going Jettas here at 5.
Can't go wrong with a guy that outside of, a few games missed in 2023, his worst is the wide receiver 6 in PPR. Absolute stud on a year-to-year basis. Steven, who are you getting with here?
This board, I'm looking at it the way it fell. Neighbors going, and then Amon-Ra. I'm going to go with a guy I had higher than both of them. Me and Dean just did a tier list for the top 24. This guy was in our S tier. He was the last guy in our S tier. I'm going to go with the Cowboy. I know, it's crazy, an Eagle fan taking a Cowboy here, but I'm going to take CeeDee Lamb. Dean and I, we just talked about it in the last video. Dak's going to come back. He's coming off the injury, but he's come back off injuries before and thrown for 4,000 yards, 30-plus touchdowns. I don't see why he can't do it again, and CeeDee Lamb is the number 1 there. He'd benefit the most.
100%. Nick, who are we taking a look at the 111? You also have a nice turn coming up here.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic position for me. But to be honest, this one's going to be a super easy one for me. It does hurt a little bit as a Carolina Panthers fan, though. There's a wide receiver down in Atlanta that I would love to make my wide receiver 1 on this team. After coming off of a 1,200-yard, 9-touchdown season, Drake London is poised to break out, especially with the ascension of Michael Penix, as we saw at the end of the year. Darnell Mooney out there as well. Bijan taking a little bit of heat from him is going to allow Drake to really excel. I'm super, super excited for him. Hopefully you guys are too, because to be honest, I could see 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns for Drake London this year.
He's only gone up since his rookie season, and, the quarterback situation seems like it's going to be a little bit more consistent than what he's had in his career, so definitely not a bad pick there. Why don't you lock that pick in there, Nick, and we'll move on to your turn right here, and let's see who's available. Derrick Henry, Devon A-Chain gone. Interesting. Who are you going with here?
Oh, this one's going to be super easy. Rookie out of Las Vegas, Ashton Genty. You obviously need a running back. He's going to be adding to a Pete Carroll offense that is honestly going to get him the ball quite a bit. I'm very excited for the ascension of Geno Smith as well. You know, he likes to dump off to running backs. Genty is not only shifty, but he can actually make it downfield. So I'd also expect him to actually get some true receiving, more than 5 yards out, basically. So I'm really excited for this. To be honest, he's one of my top running backs. And right now, I'd take him over Saquon Barkley.
Interesting. 100%. Genty's going to be a guy that I feel like rises a little bit too throughout this process, depending on what we see early on in training camp in the preseason.
Yeah, the way the board fell, I'm thrilled with it. I was even considering with my first round pick. I feel like Dean knows who I'm going with. I'm going with the guy who I think has the highest upside of anybody available and the people picked before him up until my last pick. I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. The injuries don't scare me. I'm going back to the well again. If I get bit, I'm going down swinging for the fences. McCaffrey is in that fantasy GOAT category. Getting him in here in the second round, I'm thrilled with that.
Hey, listen, McCaffrey is due. He's due. He's due.
He always follows up a bad year with an elite year, so.
Facts. The Achilles can only hold him down for 1 year. We'll be good now.
Exactly.
All right, Dean.
All right, yeah, man. Looking here, definitely thought maybe I'd get a running back, but I'm gonna stay with the receiver. I'm looking in LA, and I'm falling in love with. Yeah, I know, Ryan. Sorry, but Ladd McConkey, an absolute PPR demon. I'm excited to see a year 2 with him, and he's going to be my wide receiver 2 next to Jettas. Like, I absolutely love that combo. And, I'm going to worry about everything the rest later. Him, Herbert. I can't wait for year 2 of Ladd McConkey.
Man, Dean, that hurts. It really hurts deep down. That's my guy. But, I really kind of like how this draft is falling. I'm taking a look at some of these other players around here. Obviously, there's a lot of talent on the board at this position, but there's one player that I just can't pass up if he falls to me at the 210, despite myself having a running back already. It's the boy Bucky Irving, Mr. Fantasy Breakout, Mr. League winner himself from 2024. Bucky is incredibly efficient. Listen, I don't care about the offensive coordinator change. I'm going to trust a guy that was an absolute monster despite not playing a ton of snaps until the end of the year last year. Was an absolute baller for us. As you take a look at some of these monster games towards the end, 21 points, 24 points, 15 points, 19 points, 14.4. Like, Bucky was hitting his stride exactly when we needed to at the end of last year. He is an RB1 this season. He's going to cash in. Incredibly efficient and effective last year as well. I think Rachaad White has been officially phased out of this offense, almost to where he's going to only be playing on third down. So Bucky Irving season will continue in 2025. And looking at the turn here, it looks like Lamar Jackson Smith go, which is definitely interesting because I would have went JSN if he somehow went back to me with my receiver position. I don't know. I mean, you have players like, I think Tyreek Hill's a little bit interesting at this point. I think he is due for a bounce back year. I might play the risky play here and just go get a guy that I know is going to be a top 2 quarterback in fantasy football, and that's Josh Allen. You've looked since 2020 at this point. This guy has failed to not be a quarterback 1 or 2, in 5 straight seasons. Like, this guy is an absolute consistent machine. If Allen's healthy, he's going to be once again one of the top players. And we all know the tush push not being banned is a great sign for him as well. Josh Allen is going to give me some great volume at the quarterback position, give me that true advantage there. And despite us not taking a receiver yet, I feel pretty good about the start of my draft.
I love that Josh Allen pick right there. I think he's perfect option to go for at the 2-3 turn. You just get that elite quarterback advantage. I love that pick.
100%. Dean, who are we thinking here?
Me, I'm looking in the running back category. I was actually going to consider possibly 2 of those quarterbacks just based off like talent and what you're going to get out of there. But I'm going to go to the running back well. And there's a guy that I was fortunate enough. And, listen, Ryan, I might have hit your soft spot again. I'm going to go with the Bengals running back, Chase Brown.
Dude, you're hitting all my guys today. You're hitting all the guys.
You're a smart guy. You get it. We know. He was absolutely awesome last year. I had a lot of stock in him as well. Took a chance on him later in drafts. It exceeded expectations. Now he's really going to get that role. And I love the Bengals offense. Maybe their defense is a joke, but Chase Brown's the truth. And, no worries. I don't think we got any contract worries or trade rumors. So I'm going to go with this safe bet of Chase Brown.
Dean, I love the start to your draft right now.
You love my team. That's awesome.
Steven, what we thinking?
Yeah, here I'm happy. I'm getting a guy that I really like here. He's ranked as my 22nd ranked player. He's my wide receiver 12. So in my eyes, I'm getting a low-end wide receiver 1. I'm going to Cincinnati. I'm getting someone who just signed a new deal. I'm getting that boy T. Higgins. The only thing that concerns me is the injuries, but when he's on the field, he is an elite fantasy player tied to an elite offense. Gonna have positive game script all the time. I love T. Higgins here.
T. Higgins, that's the guy that he will win you so many weeks, and then the one week he gets you a dud, you're just like, dude, T. Higgins, man.
Yeah,
I love T. Higgins is like the best 3rd round pick you can have. Gonna win you a week, gonna probably piss you off another week.
And then he's gonna miss 2 weeks in between.
Yep, 2 weeks in between. All right, Nick, who are we thinking?
Oh, I think I'm going to take a little-known wide receiver out of Arizona, Marvin Harrison Jr. I think with just a body change we've seen, social media posts, him at the podium, dude's huge. Completely changed around whatever he was doing. I think that a little bit of the concern last year is kind of going to go away with that. That elite size, elite speed, Kyler hopefully locking in. There's no Call of Duty on the horizon. Marvin Harrison's going to be an easy pick for me. I'm, again, expecting a massive season for him. He's got the legacy. He was drafted high. Now it's time to truly show it in year 2.
100%. Good pick right there. Yeah. Nick, who are we going with at the turn?
Absolutely. I think I'm going to overdraft a guy just a tiny bit. Another rookie running back heading to my team in Omari and Hampton. Super excited for him to join this Harbaugh run team. The Chargers obviously also went and talked to J.K. Dobbins. So, yes. So just with that, I'm a bit concerned about his long-term, but at the end, I'm super excited for him on the field. True running back 1, especially in the long term, but even in redraft, he's going to get a ton of touches really, really early.
Yeah, him and Najee are going to be a solid duo to start the year, it feels like. And Amari Hampton is the typical Jim Harbaugh type of running back that he wants. So that's a great pick for you right there. Steven, let's see who winds up falling to you here.
All right, I'm happy with this pick. I was looking at James Cook, and I wanted him, but then he went. So now I'm going to go I thought Jalen Hurts would go, so that's kind of staring me in the face. But bias aside, I'm going to go with a running back that I am thrilled to get. He's my 32nd ranked player. Also a low end. So last round I got a low end wide receiver 1 at my wide receiver 12. This round I'm getting Alvin Kamara, who's ranked he's my RB 11 on the year. So I'm really thrilled to get him here. I really like my team so far with that McCaffrey-Kamara duo. I'm really living in 2019.
Dude, you got the 2019 Pro Bowlers over there. Kamara's been a baller every year of his career, though, 100%.
Absolutely.
And then you got Team 7, Team 6 over here. I don't know. Is that good on your guys' screen, or is that my screen again messing up?
Your screen
again.
Oh, my gosh, dude. We'll refresh this real quick, and then we go. Dean is now on the clock.
Yeah, thank you so much. Let's see. This is a tough one. There's a lot of guys that I see that I'm like very intrigued on. Don't know if it's time to write them off just yet. But I think I'm going to lean to old reliable here. I'm going to add another wide receiver who's on a new team in Los Angeles, but for the Rams this time. Listen, I know he's 32, but Davante Adams is just a stud. And I like this pairing for him in coming into the season with Stafford, who just slings this thing. Davante Adams, I'm not giving up yet, and I'm going to take the chance with him. Yeah, 100%. Especially at my flex spot. I love it.
100%. And I think that's a good pick right there. I really like Davante producing there for the Rams this year. And honestly, this thing fell in my lap perfectly right now. I was really worried I wasn't going to have a top wide receiver available. I do have a top wide receiver available in Rashee Rice. It looks like the suspension is not coming until 2026 right now, with more lawsuits coming Rice's way. For us fantasy owners, that is great news because a real wide receiver one is being priced in the 4th round right now. And if you can get your hands on Rashee Rice, I would draft him as early as the middle of the 3rd round right now, with the likelihood of him not getting suspended this year. Mahomes mentioned that he looks almost 100% based on his injury from last year, which we know he had early on in the season, which is great news. We know that this is the wide receiver one for the Chiefs. I really like that if Rashee Rice is on the field every single game this season, he will be a wide receiver one. So I will lock that pick in with my all RB start. I feel like that's a solid get right there. We'll see what happens here at the turn. Kenneth Walker, Devonta Smith, Cortland Sutton, and we're set here with, some interesting options to say the least. We got Hawkinson, Laporta there, which definitely stand out a little bit. I could go with the Chiefs receiver stack right there. Don't know how much I'm buying into that. And then you have some more wide receivers down the stretch right here. As much as I would love to go get another receiver there, I think a tight end is kind of staring me in the face a little bit, which is surprising. And it is Sam Laporta here for the Detroit Lions. I might be reaching just a little bit on this pick, but I think he's more in for a bounce back year than he was, I guess, heading into this past year. We saw him be the tight end 1 in his rookie year, regress to the tight end 8. Last year was tough sailing for Sam Laporta owners. I think he's going to be in for more of a bounce back in the new scheme. Should have more involvement here this year. I think Laporta in the 5th round makes a ton of sense for a lot of teams. I'm taking the risk on there, leaving some other positions open, but I think Laporta is a good fit for my team.
Nice.
I agree, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do now with both OC and DC gone.
Yep.
All right. Listen, I'm looking at a lot of things. I might get a little spicy here. I mean, maybe not too spicy, but I'm going to dip my hand into the rookie class, and I'm going into Denver in that backfield.
Oh, there he goes.
Yeah, I'm going to take the RJ Harvey hype right here. I think he has an opportunity to be impactful from week 1. I'm excited to see what him and this Broncos offense does, led by Sean Payton. Harvey, I'm excited about, and as my RB2, I'm really excited to see what he can perform week in and week out. I'm high on the Broncos. I mean, they surprised all of us last year, so I'm going to take RJ Harvey as my RB2.
Really,
I was trying to keep a poker face. That's who I wanted.
I'm going to do – I think, you know what, Dean? I'm going to hop on that train with you as well. I'm going to go on the youth train. I need to add some youth to this running back room. I'm going to go with another rookie running back. I'm going to go from the one out of New England. I'm going to take Trevion Henderson here. I really think he's going to be a 3-down back for this team. I am not on the Ramondre Stevenson hype. I was never really a fan of him as a player. He's fine, but Trevion Henderson is just in a different ball game. He's a different type of player. Love getting him here.
It's a great pick. You guys know how much I love me some Trevion Henderson.
It's so interesting too. 2 of the oldest running backs, and then a brand new running back.
hey, you gotta hedge yourself just a little bit.
I was thinking of James Conner right there as well, but I was like, you know what?
Oh, that would have been
a good RB room.
Team, not a retirement home.
You know what? I'll go crazy too. Then I'll go rookie as well. And I'm gonna be a little bit of a homer. I'd love to take Carolina's Teteroa McMillan. Obviously, he's going to get massive target share. We're talking about wide receiver 1. Already was discussed by Canales, being confirmed as getting X reps, and that's it. Not going anywhere else on the field. So going to be awesome for him in the red zone. That's exactly what Bryce Young had in college with Jamison Williams and all those fantastic guys over there at Alabama. So, yeah, Teteroa McMillan is the pick I'm going to lock in, especially at a flex. He is going to be amazing.
Great pick right there.
Let's see how the turn. Oh.
What are we looking at here, Nick?
I really want to go wide receiver because I always really devalue wide receivers for some reason. But at the same time, if I go Jamison Williams, if I go Jordan Addison, I'm really hoping that the number 1 guy has an issue. I could go get my quarterback of the future, but to be honest, the quarterback that I'm looking for is going to drop quite a bit. So I'm not worried about that. Tight end, to be honest, I can devalue that position a bit too. So I'm really looking at that running back position. But to be honest, I'm going to have to go with Jordan Addison. I love Jordan Addison coming out of college. Fantastic pickup for anybody's fantasy team. And even if he comes in there just to kind of help out on occasion, Jordan Addison's going to be able to supplement massive points for you. And especially since I'm picking him up so late, I'm absolutely loving him there.
100%. That's a good pick right there.
All right, I'm between two guys right here. One's a receiver, but the name is just screaming at me, and it fits the team. It fits the team I'm going with here. I'm going with the tight end. I'm going with a guy who is coming back for another season, locked in with Mahomes. I'm going with Travis Kelce. Mahomes says he's locked in, so I'm going to believe that. I don't think Travis Kelce is a guy who wants to go out on a year like last year. Not even that he had a bad year. He was just a couple receptions shy of 100 receptions. Still a top 5 fantasy tight end. I think he can get back to closer to his elite form this year. Getting him here, I think it's a steal.
Let me just say this real quick about this pick. I think where Travis Kelce is going right now and what we saw from him last year, we are drafting him at his floor. Last year was the worst Travis Kelce we've ever seen. He lost 25 pounds, and he was the tight end 5 in PPR. Now you're getting him in the 6th round behind – he's tight end 6. It's not a bad value at all, even if you have personal feelings and don't think Kelce is what he once was or, is just not good anymore. That's a decent value.
I was between him and Olave, and Olave went right after him, so.
All right, for me, I'm looking ahead at what I see after this pick, what's going to wrap around. And I see Ryan there.
I know who you're picking.
I see that there's some positions already taken, so I'm not going to panic for quarterback.
Is he going to do it?
Back to the rookie class.
No.
On my bench, the ceiling is so high.
Wow.
Let's get him. You know what I'm talking. Thank you. You know what I'm talking about. Me and Ryan are in sync right now. I know
it's because we did this already. You knew I was going to get him too.
No, you got to look at the.
Why would you not go boom?
This is all I was thinking about, Dean, was Travis Hunter at the slot.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not invited to the next mock draft. I know it right now, but yes, I'm going with Travis Hunter. I mean, the fact that he doesn't have to be in my starting lineup right now, right? In this format, he's on my bench. It's gambling right now. It's awesome. So I'm going to take that because if it hits, he's in my lineup. If it doesn't, oh, well, so what? We move on. Here we go. But I'm going to take the ride on the Travis Hunter trade.
100%. Dean, can't argue with you there. I'm a big Travis Hunter guy, especially in the 6 right now. But there was another guy I was thinking about, and I was hoping potentially to get both of these guys with Hunter. It's Jerry Jeudy. I actually talked about him being a little bit undervalued right now in fantasy football. I mean, last year, guys, he was in wide receiver 1 with how he finished, and his quarterback situation was brutal. I mean, they rolled out 4 different guys last year, and if Joe Flacco's the starter, Flacco has, had receivers that have been really viable in fantasy football. The Browns are going to be trailing a ton. It seems like Jeudy is just now figuring out how to play consistent football. He only had 4 touchdowns last year. In the 6, come on. I mean, it's a good value, and it feels like we're drafting him where, his, probably floor is at a low-end wide receiver too. I like that. I can get behind Jerry Jeudy cashing in on that value a little bit this year, and we'll see what happens at the turn right here. If another Brown is available, I might have to go that, and it looks like he is. Just want to check the board real quick, make sure I'm not missing anybody, but I'm going to go with the other Brown, Quinshon Judkins right here. Establish a strong RB depth right there, getting a guy that should be the bell cow in Cleveland with how they drafted him in that draft capital. I know the Browns are not going to be very good, but Judkins will dominate on the early work. It's still to be seen if he'll be a 3rd down guy, but I'll take a guy in the 7th round that has the opportunity for 15 to 18 touches a game, and he'll be my running back off the bench or a potential flex play for my team this year.
Okay, yeah. Listen, Ron, I kind of have the same mindset for you. I know I don't have a quarterback. I know I don't have a tight end, but there's some depth in there that I can deal with later on. But looking at the board, I'm looking at RB1s on depth charts right now, and I kind of want to get that for my bench as well. So I'm going to go Chicago. Listen, I'm not the biggest DeAndre Swift fan, but the fact that he's going to be RB1, I'll take that all day. You know, I'm excited to see what this Bears offense does. I'm a huge believer in Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, huge fans of them. So I'll take some pieces from this offense, even if it's DeAndre Swift, right? And he's going to get the playing time. So I'll take that on my bench.
I think he could be a top 15 running back for sure with Ben Johnson.
Absolutely, yeah.
I like who fell to me, so I'm between two guys. I think I can get the guy in the next round, but I'm going to go with a guy who's coming off an injury. He was drafted in the top few rounds last year. I'm going to go with Brandon Ayuk. Yes, I know I already have a 49er, but I don't know what it is about rival teams of the Eagles. I just really enjoy drafting them. Brandon Ayuk, I feel like he's one of the biggest buys, not only in Dynasty, but getting him here in the mid to late 7th round. I mean, look at that. I mean, right before the injury, he had over 1,300 yards. Yes, he had a slow start to the year, and he's coming off an knee injury. But he is the wide receiver one there. They have Ricky Pearsall, no more Deebo Samuel. I think Ayuk is an elite receiver before he got hurt. I would not be surprised if he could return to that and everyone forgets about him. I love getting Ayuk. He's one of my guys this year.
100%. I think that's a great pick right now with where his ADP is.
Absolutely.
And, I in fantasy, I just love – I mean, you want consistent guys. You want depth. But you don't win with some of those guys. They'll fill out your team. You win by hitting a home run pick.
You do.
This is one of those guys. You have a chance to hit a home run and gain so much value with this pick.
Yep, 100%. 100%. Nick, who are we picking here?
Speaking of value pick, I feel like you guys just kind of like let him fall to me. I understand his ADP is going to be a little bit higher than some people are expecting, especially at this pick. But there's a quarterback up in Chicago that threw 20-plus touchdowns after being sacked 3 more times than Bryce Young did. So to be honest, Caleb Williams is going to end up being my pick here. I need to shore up that quarterback position. I really think he's going to be dynamic, especially with Ben Johnson. So I need to fix that position just to start. Okay. Then obviously the turn. One of the things that I love in fantasy, other than going with 4 straight running backs, which, you know, maybe that wasn't the best option for this, which is why I mixed it up. But it's pairing them with a tight end. And there's a fantastic tight end that Chicago just got. Colston Loveland. I'm going to go with Colston. I'm going to take him to pair him with Caleb Williams. Young quarterbacks need safety valve tight ends. If Colston Loveland is truly going to translate from college to the NFL with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson and everything, he's going to be able to do it as a rookie. So to be honest, this is a no-brainer pick for me. If they can't hit any of the guys deep down the field, that ball is going directly to Colston Loveland.
Hey, listen, I might not agree with it here, but I think that stack is going to be more valuable than people think this year. And Williams
Correct.
and Loveland.
And I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit on the high end of maybe a Tyrone Tracy for securing that stack for the entire year, not hoping that my guy's going to be there.
Yeah, just like you said, I'm a big fan of if you think it's a reach, but you really love the guy, who cares? If you love the guy, it's not a reach to you. Who cares what other people think? I like that. So I was between 2 guys, and one of them got picked right after Loveland. I was thinking I really wanted Caleb Johnson to add on the bench, be a late season darling, as a lot of rookie running backs do, but it made my pick a lot easier. I needed a quarterback, and there's one quarterback that I really like, and he's got that rushing upside, and I'm going to go with him out of Arizona. I've always been a Kyler Murray fan. I mean, last year he was averaging over 18 points a game in fantasy. As a quarterback, I really like that, and I think the ceiling is a lot higher for Kyler. So I'm going to lock in Kyler right here as my quarterback.
100%. I mean, he was a frustrating player at times last year, but ultimately, like, he still has that rushing upside that he'll have a bounce back here. It feels like consistency.
Is it crazy that Kyler's already been in the league 6 years?
Yes, time is flying by. Patrick Mahomes is 30 years old already. I'm getting sad. All right, Dean, who are we picking here?
Man, I keep wanting to go back to these holes that I have in my roster here at the quarterback and tight end, but I think I just love too much of this depth So do you know where I'm going, Ryan? Again? No way.
I do know where you're going again.
Bring him up if you know. Bring him up. There's not.
Dude,
I feel so bad, but you're right.
Dude, all the guys I want, you're just stealing from me.
Man, I'm not even in front of him. I love this. Jacoby Myers. They didn't do nothing. I know there's Brock Bowers. I know they got Genty. I love it, but Gino's a gunslinger, bro, and they got to throw to somebody, and it's Jacoby Myers. So I'm just gonna keep adding to my depth, and I know there's some quarterbacks and tight ends that I'll be comfortable fine filling out the rest of my roster as I go.
Listen, Dean, we cannot draft next to each other next time. This is this is hurting me deep down really bad. All right. Looking at this board here, it gets a little bit dicey at this point for me. Obviously, I was hoping that, Myers would fall to me at this point. My wide receiver depth isn't great. So let's take a look at who we have here. Love Pearsall this year. I love some of these guys down here as well. Don't know if I love it at this spot. Deebo Samuel's a guy that absolutely I'm avoiding at this point. Outside of that, don't love a lot of players here. I think what makes most sense for me is take a flyer on Ricky Pearsall. I think, we talked about the 49ers situation. I think a lot of people are in love with Pearsall becoming a consistent option for them this year, especially with Ayuk not being ready for week 1. Ayuk's kind of falling out of love there. Who knows? Maybe Pearsall steps up down the stretch. We will see. I'm not completely sold on this pick, but, I have a lot of hopes for him being a consistent flex option this year compared to what we saw last year. Based on how this turn goes, still not going to love who's available here. I already went wide receiver. We have 3 running backs already. At this point, the running back position, there's not a lot of guys that I really am in love with here. I think I need to take another shot at a receiver and hope that it hits. Matthew Golden is an interesting pick for a lot of people right now. But I'm actually going to probably reach on a guy a little bit early just because, me and Nick talked about this not too long ago, but Darnell Mooney was an underrated player last year. The 31st overall receiver in fantasy felt a little bit more consistent than that. 900 yards last season, 5 touchdowns. He has flex potential. Michael Penix Jr. is going to be a little bit better than Kirk Cousins was last year. I think that Mooney can potentially cash in and fill in for some weeks for me when he has some plus matchups. And look at last year. He started a lot stronger in this 5 to week 9 stretch. We're like, man, Mooney can play ball, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, this is a little bit of a dart throw here, just hoping I could hit on one of these receivers.
Love that. So this time, don't worry, Ryan. It's all good. I'm going to fill in one of these holes. I'm going to go to the tight end position. This is one of the guys I'm actually starting to fall in love with because I feel like he's not getting a lot of respect, but he finished in the top 10 in tight ends. And I'm going to Green Bay. I'm going to go with Tucker Kraft. That wide receiver room is kind of confusing. I think it's a lot of pretty good receivers, but I think Tucker Kraft is coming out here as the clear-cut tight end for them. Him, Jordan Love. I like 2025 for Tucker Kraft, so I'm going to take a chance on him, and he's going to be my tight end week in and week out.
Wow, that's a good one.
I
think a lot of people are sleeping on him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people forget. He did finish tight end 10, and I feel like he's not getting the love, and I'll take him all the way down here in the 9th.
With my pick, I'm going to go with a guy that I talked about in a video a few weeks ago, one of my bounce back guys. I'm taking a wide receiver out of Indianapolis. I'm taking Michael Pittman. I was big on him last year early in drafts. Everything kind of just went south for Michael Pittman, and he still had almost 70 catches, 800 yards. Touchdowns were low. I don't expect the touchdowns to be much higher. They got so many guys that are threats mostly in the red zone. But with everything going south, even if they went up a little bit, I feel like Michael Pittman is a steal here. Just adding to the depth, I'm very happy with Michael Pittman in almost the 10th round.
Yep, and then Josh Downs happens to go almost 1 pick later.
This one's going to be an interesting slot.
At this point, it's getting very interesting.
I love it.
It really is because I've already got a lot of rookies on here, so of course I'd love to add Matthew Golden. That would be just add the depth. But to be honest, I really need a running back. There's some good later ones, though. I think I'm just going to go crazy here. I'm going to need the depth anyways. I might as well take the tight end out of Indiana, Tyler Warren.
Whoa.
I now have tight end 1 and tight end 2 from the most recent draft class. That'll enable to put them in at flex. And to be honest, if Daniel Jones, who looks like quarterback 1 in Indianapolis, he's going to love throwing to Tyler Warren. So if I'm able to get him plus a Caleb Williams with a Colston Loveland, this could absolutely be a fantastic catch-heavy team for sure.
Let me say this real quick, though, too, is that drafting Loveland and Warren, you're basically hedging yourself. One of them is going to be good this year.
Yep.
Correct. Didn't even think about that. To be honest, there's going to be a week where I don't want to play any of the extra wide receivers, and I'm going to want to roll 2 tight ends. So.
Hey, 2 tight end set. I love it.
Yep. And then obviously here, when I'm looking at, I'm going to have to get a running back. I would love to go Javonte Williams, but I just don't believe in Javonte Williams. I'd probably go crazy and take Jaden Blue if I was going to go that far. To be honest, I could think that there's a chance that Bucky could return back to center. So I'm going to go crazy here and take the running back in Tampa, Rachaad White. I know it's a little bit of a flyer, but I need him to just kind of bridge the 1 week where I'm not going to have my running back 1 and 2. If Bucky does happen to return back to normal, then Rachaad takes that running back 1 position back. So, yeah, I think it's here. It's another one. I'm just kind of hedging my bets. Hopefully Bucky stays healthy for somebody else's team, but if not, I've got his replacement.
I hope Bucky stays healthy for this team.
I love that 2 tight end pick, Nick. You're running the football. A lot of 12 personnel on your squad.
Dude, that's where I thought you were going. And as soon as you said Pittman, I'm like, wow, Michael Pittman's only fan out here.
So I'm going to go, I started out my team going in the retirement home. I'm going to build off some youth now. I'm going to take a guy that I love. Dean knows I love him. I was ready to put him in my S tier of overall players. He should be a first-round pick in redraft. I'm going with Luther Burden out of Chicago.
Great pick.
I'm just joking. He should not be a first-round pick in redraft. But I really love Luther Burden. I think with Ben Johnson coming over to Chicago, I think this offense is going to really turn some heads this year. And I think Luther Burden fits the Amon-Ra St. Brown role the best out of anyone on that team. And this is literally like I'm swinging for the fences. I think Luther Burden is going to be one of those guys. You always have a rookie receiver who propels himself up in the draft next year. I think Luther Burden could easily be that guy. He's very talented. The talent is not the question. It's just will he get the opportunity?
Yep. Great pick.
All right, I'm going to fill in my last hole on the roster. We're going quarterback here. I'm going to go with a guy that's returning from injury, a guy that finished as QB3 just a previous year ago in 2023. It's the Cowboys quarterback, Dak Prescott. I mean, listen, if he stays healthy, he's a demon. I mean, he throws the ball. I'm not giving up on the Cowboys just yet. They kind of go as Dak goes. So I like him this late as getting him as my quarterback, rounding out my lineup. So I'll take Dak Prescott.
I'm still a little sad you didn't take Bo Nix, but Prescott's a damn good quarterback 1.
I know. I was thinking that too. I punted it away. I was thinking about Bo Nix the whole time, but yeah.
It's a great day when Dean doesn't pick the guy that I want. It's a great day. You know what? I'm going to hedge my bets in San Francisco and pick the guy that was an absolute baller that came out of nowhere last year, and it was Juwan Jennings, finishing with 975 yards. Wide receiver 24 on the year, missed some games as well. I just think we're underrating this guy as a talent. We all expect Brandon Ayuk to come back, be their wide receiver 1 at some point, right? Juwan Jennings was there when Brandon Ayuk was healthy, and he still outplayed him and had better production than him. Why can't Juwan Jennings do that again this year? And listen, we're in round 10 right now. It's a great value for Juwan Jennings, where he was a solid flex option last year. I'm gladly going to pick him and just hope that, they stick to some sort of similar script in there as well. And at this point, I went wide receiver 3 straight rounds. We have 4 more rounds left, and that's going to give me another chance to take a nice dart throw on a running back here. There's actually a few players that I really like here. Who do I want to talk about more? I feel like Jaden Blue's got enough love from myself on a lot of these lists. So I'm going to go Tank Bigsby here, who I think is getting a little bit underrated as well. We've seen Bigsby last year have a lot of rushing production. clearly taking over as the early down back in Jacksonville. Why did we forget that? Bashal Tootin? Tootin does not worry me to completely take over this backfield right away. Travis Etienne. Oh, Travis Etienne's the best early down runner in the league. No, he is only going to play on third down. This is still Tank Bigsby's backfield for early downs, and we saw him produce very well last season when he was running the ball. I think he's going to get the first shot, and I don't want to say he reminds me of Bucky Irving, but he is a Walmart version of Bucky Irving, and he can be a solid potential RB2 this year if he has enough volume in a Liam Cohen offense. So I'm going with Tank Bigsby there. Back to you, Dean.
Well, Team 4 sniped me. I wanted Tajay Spears. That hurts. I thought you were going to take him. I just didn't know Team 4 was kind of like that.
Team 4 me, like that, bro.
They really are. It's kind of a dart throw as well here. I'm kind of torn between. I'm staying in the running back position here, and I'm between either the youth or the old. I think I'm just going to go with, I'm going to play the hits. And I'm going to go with the guy in Washington. We talk about PPR, a guy that catches out of the backfield. I'm going to go with my boy, Austin Eckler. Listen, it's depth. It's, maybe just need him for a week or whatever. I'm just going to go play the hits. Austin Eckler, my boy, add him to my team.
I think that's a fantastic depth
PPR
pick.
Demon, bro. PPR
Thank you so
Demon.
much.
All right, with my pick, I gotta open the app again. It just froze, so give me 1 second. I know who I'm gonna go with. I was debating with him last
Justin
pick.
Field.
No. I'm gonna go with another rookie receiver. I'm gonna go with a guy out of Tampa Bay. I'm gonna go with Emeka Egbuka. Late in drafts, I just love getting dart throws that I know are gonna play. And Egbuka, first round pick. To me, on draft night, the thing was taking Egbuka in the first round. That showed me, I don't know if they believe that Chris Godwin is fully healthy and ready to come back week 1. So with that being said, if he definitely isn't back week 1 or not even 100%, Egbuka's going to be playing a lot of the snaps. And I think he's better than McMillan. They wouldn't have taken it in the first round if they didn't really love him. So I really like this pick. He could be, like I said with Luther Burden, he could easily be a guy that's drafted in the 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds of drafts next season.
Great pick. Great pick. All right. What we looking
stole
at
my
here,
pick.
Love it.
I don't know, man. I wanted Egbuka. He's so good and dynamic. And at this point,
I had to snipe someone.
you definitely did it. I could go crazy here and go kicker, but I'm not going to kick away my draft. So for that reason, I'm going to go with a sleeper pick that I actually got from Ryan. So it's kind of stealing a little bit. Marvin Mims, the wide receiver from Denver. Wide receiver 2 for sure. They obviously have some great depth out there with Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant. So wide receiver 4 and 5 are going to be awesome. I think Marvin Mims does continue to make that step forward. Be that wide receiver 2. Like you guys said, I'm only going to need him to be in there once or twice. So hopefully late in the season, maybe if Cortland Sutton gets traded, if the Broncos fall apart, I'm not sure. He could be wide receiver 1 in a crazy world. But for that reason, I'm going to make him a part of this crazy team. And then see what comes around the turn. I don't really know what to go here. Here, to be honest, I really want to go kicker because there's a kicker that I want to just grab, but
get your guy.
Whoever your guy is, go get him, Nick.
If you believe in a kicker, you get him.
Whether it's round 1 or round 14,
like it's the right kicker.
Then there's only 2 kickers that I look at, okay? The kicker that's on my team and a kicker that I actually think will succeed. So I won't go with the Panthers kicker. So for that reason, I'm going to go the kicker out of hold on.
I'm not showing kicker profiles.
Okay, here we go. Baltimore kicker Tyler Loop, rookie. I understand this is redraft, but if you decide to go get him in redraft, you decide to go get him in Dynasty, which is the preferred place, I think he's going to absolutely change lives. You're not going to be able to be worried about him. He's going to go out there, be consistent, and to be honest, at this point, I might as well secure my kicker of the future.
Yep, Justin Tucker changed a lot of lives too over in Baltimore.
Yep. Paid for a lot of college.
All right, Steven, you're up.
All right. Well, thank God my kicker's available. No, I'm just kidding. That just that threw me off my game. I'm gonna go with yeah, oh, there he is. All right, I'm gonna go with another Kansas City player. I'm gonna go with Hollywood Brown. I've always been a fan of Hollywood Brown's talent. Last season, it just got derailed from the jump. Missed basically. I'm just gonna say he missed the entire year basically. Like it says right there, Chiefs have high hopes for Hollywood Brown. You know, he's uber talented. He's a former first round pick. He was in that Baltimore offense where no wide receiver there is going to have crazy numbers, but he was just super talented. He's got 1,000-yard season in the past. Now he's with Mahomes. And could he be like a Walmart Tyreek Hill? He would never touch his numbers, but he could be that deep threat and get, maybe he's a boomer bust guy, and getting him down here in the 12th round, there's an injury in that room, he could skyrocket to being a weekly flex guy.
I can get behind it.
100%.
Yep.
Plus, he's going to have a lot of guys in that room, so there's going to be a lot of competition. They brought in Royals. That wide receiver room is deep.
For me, I'm going to take one of my kind of sleeper bounce back guy. Let me label him as a bounce back. It's in the quarterback position, and it's down in Jacksonville. I'm going to get Trevor Lawrence here. Yes, he only played 10 games last year. Finished pretty low, obviously, but the years before that, you're looking at QB10, QB6 when he's played full seasons. I like him a lot. I believe in the whole new coaching staff. Gets a new weapon in Travis Hunter, who's on my bench as well. I like him a lot. So I'm going to take Trevor Lawrence as kind of just QB depth. If he hits, if he exceeds Dak, I'm starting him every day.
I like it. See, at this point for me, I think, that the quarterback position with Josh Allen, I'm not going to pick another quarterback just because of that. But of the guys that are available, JJ McCarthy feels like a sneaky pick. Just because, we saw Sam Darnold even be a productive fantasy quarterback in that offense. I said I wasn't going to pick Jaden Blue, and I probably would pick him at this point. I'm going to go Kyle Williams, wide receiver for the Patriots here. Listen, I don't buy you look at this depth chart right now. Stephon Diggs, Kyle Williams, Demario Douglas, a bunch of guys that don't impress me very much. Williams has a clear path to finding playing time on this field. You have Kayshon Boutte over here, Mac Hollins, Kendrick Bourne, Javon Baker as well mixed in there. Like, Williams has a real chance to outproduce some of these guys that are in the hall of very mid for this Patriots wide receiver room. So I think, rookie, really good production at Washington State. Like, let me throw my dart on him. He could hit. He really could. And I like the fact that he's going to go there. You see some of the kickers go. I'm going to play devil's advocate here and go draft another player that I think could be valuable this year down the stretch. Taking a look at some of these guys here, I think the most valuable asset could be Jack Beck here for the Raiders. I think Beck's an interesting player, a bigger slot guy for this team. Jacoby Myers obviously is going to be their wide receiver one, but we know Geno Smith is not necessarily a guy that loves to throw to the tight end position in his career historically. That's going to open up some targets for wide receivers. I think Beck is going to be that wide receiver two for this team on the Raiders. I'm going to take him there and, just hope the volume is there that he could potentially be a flex option for me.
Yeah, and for me to finish kind of out, I'm just gonna get another depth piece, but in one of those singulars. So I'm going tight end, and if you're with this late into the tight end position, there's some good options right at the top. I mean, Zach Ertz had a great year last year. Hunter Henry was tight end 11, but I'm gonna go with the Baltimore tight end because if he takes over the starting job, sir, I mean, he could just be a top 5 tight end in fantasy. We kind of saw the resurgence in the beginning of the season, and then Mark Andrews came back to life. It's kind of a weird situation. It's just kind of a, let's see what happens in Baltimore. And if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, all right, he's not my starting tight end. He's just a backup piece. So kind of just taking that ceiling for Isaiah Likely.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think in dynasty purposes, he's a guy that we should absolutely be buying right now.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah, like I said, swing for the fences. It's kind of it fell right into my hands. You got to do it here. I have to take, if I'm going to go down that Christian McCaffrey route, you have to get the handcuffs. So I'm going to go with Isaac Guerrero. And I mean, last season was just proof you need to get a handcuff when you are dealing with someone like McCaffrey and has that injury history. I mean, Jordan Mason, if you had McCaffrey on your team and you had Jordan Mason, it was not a complete fail. You had some production in the absence of McCaffrey. Was it what you wanted? No. But at least instead of nothing, you got something. So in this case, I'm going to take Isaac Guerendo here to kind of just hedge my bets with taking McCaffrey.
100%. Nick, who are we thinking here?
Oh, I think this one's going to be an easy one. I'm going to need a quarterback to help me out when Caleb Williams is sitting down. So I'm going to go down to Atlanta. I already have Drake London. I might as well add the quarterback that's going to add 15 touchdowns to his resume. So I'm going to take Michael Penix Jr. with this pick. I think he's got fantastic upside. You talked about Mooney, Bijan as well. There is so much potential and, of course, a winnable division against my Carolina Panthers. So Penix absolutely has an opportunity to drop a few 4 or 5 touchdown games, especially late in the season. So this one's an easy one for me.
All right.
Depending on the turn, though, I'm obviously going to have to take a defense. So I'll just take an easy one, the San Francisco 49ers defense. I think San Francisco, the addition of Mykel Williams, as well as their other picks, the 49ers are going to be able to turn stuff around. Not only that, but you're also adding on Robert Saleh back as a defensive coordinator. The 49ers are going to have winnable games. They're going to put guys in position to succeed. So it's going to be super easy for me. 49ers defense all day. I mean, I think this is a 17-0 season, something like that.
Something like that. Steven, what are you picking?
Let me find them. I don't know if they got picked yet. What I like to do in late round of drafts is I like to, when I'm going to pick a defense, I like to in drafts like this, I would not take a kicker. I think you guys were on that wave. Go get a guy, you could take, like, for example, I was looking at Trey Benson in case Guerendo got picked because, gosh forbid, if James Conner went down in training camp before the season starts, he's on your team, Trey Benson.
It's more of a win in the season for James Conner.
Exactly. So that's a good pick there. But in this case, I'm going to go with, when I like to pick a defense, I like looking at the week 1 schedule. And I'm getting a player or a team now that can win me a week. And I think week 1, Broncos are at home against the Titans, rookie quarterbacks going against an elite defense. I think that could win me a matchup. And that matchup could be the deciding factor between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. So, I mean, and they're a great defense, so they could be on my squad.
That's exactly the same strategy I follow in a lot of drafts, is get that streamer defense week 1 and then figure it out from there.
How'd I get sniped? I was just going to go G-Men. That defensive front. I can't believe I just got sniped out of the Giants defense. That's crazy, dude. Oh my God. That broke my heart. Man, I wasn't ready for that. I'm just going to take the Steelers. Boom. There you go.
Hey, there you go. All right.
Easy one.
Oh, yeah. There you go. They're playing the Jets. Easy.
I am scrolling down, and there are some names I want to mention before we close this video. I think Braylon Allen is a sneaky pick this year. He looks like he is going to have a significant role within this offense this year. The Jets are not super high on Breece Hall. We know that. Another player. I start him. Roschon Johnson. We all know that Ben Johnson is going to implement Roschon Johnson and Kyle Montague this year, however you pronounce his last name. But one of those two, they're going to operate as that guy. You scroll down a little bit. Nick Chubb is still available. We'll see where he winds up landing. A tight end that I want to mention here, not Dalton Schultz. He's washed. Brenton Strange, PPR machine. He will definitely worm his way into some targets right there as well. Scroll down here. No, we're not talking about Geno Smith or any of that nonsense. Keep going. Pat Bryant, a name that you need to know. This is a guy that could easily work into some significant targets within, and he's drawn comparisons to Michael Thomas, and guess who coaches there? Sean Payton. Definitely some names you guys need to take advantage of. Jarquez Hunter as well. Terrence Ferguson, not at this year type of candidate. Defensive-wise, let's go draft the worst defense in the league. Actually, I don't know why this is not even filtered by the worst defense. Let's just go Chiefs. and, close this thing out. Ultimately, though, guys, I think we all had really solid drafts, provided us with a very good foundation to our mock draft season here in June. I think a lot of us are feeling good. Let us know down in the comment section below which of us four would be winning this league. I know, hey, Nick claimed he was going 17-0. Dean stole a bunch of my picks. Steven has the 2019 Pro Bowlers. I just have a bunch of scrubs. So let us know down in the comment section below what you guys think. Hit that subscribe button for more Blitz fantasy football content, and us four will catch you guys next time.
Peace.